Marjolaine, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and I know we're going to talk about lots of creative things today, but we're starting with something that really appeals to me. I've always loved to color, whether it's with map pens or pencils or with markers or whatever. Unfortunately, most of my kids have enjoyed it, so it's been something we've done together as a family too. But adult coloring books and coloring has taken on a whole new meaning the last few years.
That's right. It's one of the hottest trends right now, and you can find dozens of coloring books everywhere you go, in grocery stores or art stores and bookstores. I have quite a collection here from Leisure Arts. And I think the big trend is that it's a stress reliever, but for me, I use it as an art or craft form. And
so whatever you use it for, it doesn't matter, just enjoy it.
That's right. Once I've put all the work in coloring a page, I like to use it up and do different various crafts with it. So over here I did a paper piecing on my notebook.
Oh, so it's okay to cut it all up?
It's okay to cut it all up.
Sometimes we have to have permission, you know, to do the things that we've never known we could do.
It's hard at first, though. You have a beautiful page, and cutting it up can be a little nerve-wracking.
Right.
It's worth it.
And then you have a framed piece that's really a work of art.
Yes, I cut this one up, and I made a journal page with it, and it was so beautiful, I just framed it.
I like that, and I like the writing. You'll talk about that in a minute. And then this is what?
This is an acrylic mini album, and I've used various pages, so match different
Again, you cut
patterns
them up.
together.
And there's layers on here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers on there.
So I've added some photos.
Oh my
and
gosh, I wouldn't have
mini
thought
scrapbook.
about. What a nice background the colored pages make. You know, sometimes you look for scrapbook paper and there's just something that's not quite right. So this would be wonderful.
And this kind of paper can be matched to any project because you choose the colors yourself.
I like that idea. And you even have a little easel so you could display it in your craft room or den or wherever.
That's right.
Okay, let's color.
So today we're using dual brush markers from Tombow. And these are water-based, so they're blendable. And what I love about these is that if you've never colored before and you have no experience whatsoever, your project will still look beautiful because the colors are so bright.
That's true. Oh.
And so you can, there's two ends. There's the brush end, which
That's
you
the
can
wider
almost paint with, and then there's the bullet fine end.
Oh, if you want to get really close up.
And if you don't want to lose your cap, both caps fit on the ends.
I can tell you speak from experience, right?
That's right.
And there's no right or wrong way to do this, right?
There really isn't. And the more layers you put, the darker it will get. So you can do some shading even with just one marker.
So much easier than when I was in school. It was always just crayons, and if they weren't perfectly pointed, sharp, I didn't like using them.
That's right. And the fun thing about these markers, there's different things you can do. You can use, I have a palette here, and you can kind of turn them into a watercolor. Oh. And then I have, this is a colorless.
Colorless, it's like
colorless
a
blending pen. So I can come in here and get some color, and then it will look more like a watercolor. Oh. And if I want to get
like this place where you started with kind of the darker purple, could you just use plain water, or would you use the blending pen?
You could use the blending pen, and then I can use a bit of water, and I can even use a paintbrush.
Oh, okay.
And dip it in here, but I'll use my blending pen today. And then it just gives you...
You can go from light to dark very easily.
That's right.
So each pen gives you 3 or 4 different colors. I like that.
And you can also, and this is the coolest thing, you can blend directly with your pens. You can...
Oh, I've never tried that.
Do a little bit of this, and then you get a two-toned effect.
Kind of a bluish purple that way.
Which is really cool. So there's really...
Oh, I didn't know there was so much involved. I've just always colored.
But again, that's the fun part about these markers, is that even if you don't know any of the techniques, you still get a beautiful color on your project.
And I do think it's stress relieving. I just enjoy it. Right. So people get out of it what they want, I think.
Exactly.
So once we've finished our picture, we're ready to
if you want
make it a work of art.
I'm a mixed media artist, so I like to add different medias to my project. So here I have
that's pretty.
a piece that's finished, and this is gesso. It's like a white acrylic paint. It's a primer.
I've always seen it in big containers.
It comes in huge containers. This one's for little itty-bitty work. And one of the things you can do is just add just little dots to your project.
And will it stay white, or does it dry clear?
This stays white, although it will take on a bit of the color. So I find you do need 2 layers of it.
Oh, let one dry and then put another.
Yeah, just because this is a water-based ink, so the gesso will take on a bit of that color, so it won't be quite as bright unless you do a second layer.
All right. And we could add, I guess, sparkle and all kinds of bling to it if
this
we
is
wanted.
called Texture Gems, and can add a little bit of that to make it shiny.
When it dries, is that when you see well, you can see a little bit of it even when it comes out wet.
When it dries, you can see that shine there.
I like that effect. That's pretty.
So for something to do, another thing to do with your coloring page is that you can cut it up. I'm just going to adhere it here with some Tombow adhesive.
And you cut this in a fold like for a card, so this will be, it's folded on the side.
Right, there we go.
Must be a new one.
It is a new one. I thought I primed it yesterday, but apparently I didn't. And you can just attach that to a card.
You just eyeball things, don't you?
I am an eyeballer.
I do too.
And then I just print out a little sediment that you can also color if you wanted. And I have little foam tabs there.
To raise it up a little bit.
That's right.
Which is nice. If you had a bunch of these made, you could come in then later and do sympathy or happy birthday or thinking of you. And so you can really have a card in minutes, in seconds, really. That is so nice. Thinking of you today. That's really pretty.
And then you have a handmade card very quickly.
That people really enjoy. I know when I've taken the time to make something and give, the people always really seem to enjoy it.
I have people that seem to, they display them in their homes because they think they're so pretty.
Well, thank you for showing us another way besides just coloring, what we can do with our coloring pages once we're through with them. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was nice being here.